this week's daily vitamin workout has 3 components. We've got our stationary ball handling, we've got our elevation all-star challenge, which is just a stationary ball handling that includes 3 things. We've got our crossover dribble, our swing the purse or our V dribble on the side, and our behind the back dribble, which you're going to go in a box version around your body, and you're going to see how fast you can complete 40 dribbles at each point, which there are 4 of those points. And I'll explain those to you when we break that down individually here in a second. Then after that, we're going to continue on with our dribble wave series, but this week we're focusing on behind the back dribble with our dribble wave series. And then on our finishing series, which is our 3rd component, we're going to focus on baseline finishes. We're going to focus on a power layup out of the baseline finish, and we're going to talk to you about some micro skills within that finish to focus on. So let's get started. All right, so for our elevation stationary all-star challenge, here's what it is. It's 4 things. You've got your crossover dribble. You've got to complete 40 crossover dribbles, and then from there you've got 40 swing the purse or side-to-side dribbles or V dribbles on the sides. People call them different things. And then 40 behind the back dribbles, and then 40 swing the purse or V dribbles or side-to-side dribbles with your left hand. Okay, so crossovers, V dribbles or swing the purse dribbles with your right hand behind the back, and then V dribbles or side-to-side dribbles with your left hand. I'm going to do 5 on each, but you want to do 40. For the sake of time, I'm just going to show you 5. So here. All right. So similar to that, but you want to go 40 of each section of that. You want to see how fast you can complete that. You want to complete this workout 4 times, so every day that you work on this, you want to see if you can improve your time on the completion of that. Now let's move on to dynamic ball handling. All right, now it's time to move on to dynamic ball handling. This week we're continuing on with our dribble wave series. This week focusing on behind the back. So our advanced move is behind the back, continuous dribble, going forward and then going backwards. And then our modified version is taking 1 dribble in between. I'm going to show you both. All right, use our advanced version. So it's continuous behind the back dribble, no dribbles. All right, so here's the modified version. If you don't feel comfortable, you're still working on that behind the back dribble, take a pound dribble or a rhythm dribble in between each behind the back, and then take a step forward or step backward, depending where you are in the wave process. Here we go. All right, so now it's time to move on to footwork and finishing. And this week with our footwork, 2 steps. We've got our open step and our cross step out of the left and the right baseline respectively. And then you've got your finish, which is a power layup out of the baseline. So a couple micro skills that I want to focus on or talk to you about before I show you what it looks like is, let's start with the footwork. When you toss the ball back to yourself, you're going to rip it aggressively into a triple threat position, as you're going to see me do. And then you're going to notice my footwork's different. As I step into it with my open step, it's going to be a right-left, okay? Stepping into it first, right-left into the catch. So then I'm going to step and rip by the defender, stepping first with my left foot. Now on the cross step, I'm going to step into it left-right, sweeping below my knees, so the defense feels my breeze, stepping across the defense with my right foot. Why is it important to be able to do both on either side? Well, you don't want to be a fish out of water as a ball player. You don't want to be able to be guarded a certain way because you're scouted and the defense or the coach knows, hey, you know what? He or she doesn't use this footwork on this side of the floor. You want to be able to operate equally on both sides of the floor. It's okay to have a dominant pivot foot. If your coach asks you or instructs you to use the same pivot foot, you make that work. But as a player during your skill development time, when you're working on yourself, working by yourself, it's very important that you work on both so that you're not a fish out of water. Why do we use the analogy of fish out of water? A fish can't breathe out of water. As a player, you don't want to be someone that can't operate on the left side or can't operate out of the baseline. You want to feel comfortable everywhere, thus not being like a fish out of water. I'm going to open step first. So step into it with our right foot and left. All right, I'm in a triple threat position. I step first for the open step with my left foot. I then dribble. Okay, here's my cutoff dribble, my glide stop, shoulders. My shoulders are square to the backboard, and then I finish. My left. Balls on my right hand, I'm going to grip below my knees so defense moves my crease, stepping across with my right foot. Glide stop, inside elbow up, shoulders square to the backboard. And spinning into it, step right, grip. Alright, so let's recap this week's daily vitamins. First, we have our Elevation All-Star Challenge. That's 40 crossover dribbles. 40 repeated crossover dribbles. That's one crossover, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 40. And then you've got 40 with your right hand side to side or swing the purse, or V dribbles where you're pushing and pulling the ball in front and behind the knee. 40 of those, then 40 behind the back dribbles, and then 40 swinging the purse or side to side or V dribbles, depending on whatever you want to call it. With your left hand, you want to time yourself. That's 160 total dribbles. How many minutes or how many seconds does it take for you to complete that? I'd shoot for 90 seconds, okay? Your goal should be 90 seconds to complete it. If not, okay, just push forward next time. You want to complete this workout 4 times before the next daily vitamins are made public. And so you want to try and increase you want to decrease your time, each and every time you work to complete this. Now with the dynamic ball handling, we've got our dribble wave series that we're continuing with. We've got behind the back, walking forward. Our advanced version is continuous behind the back, with no rhythm dribble or pound dribble in between. And then our modified version is a pound dribble or rhythm dribble in between each step forward or backward, depending on where you are in the dribble wave. And you want to go up and down 3 times. That's 1 rep. Okay, it's 3 sets of that. So down and back 3 times, 10-second break. Down and back 3 times, 10-second break. Down and back 3 times, 10-second break. And then you move on to your footwork and finishing. And in this week, during our footwork and finishing, we're working on attacking out of the baseline, from the baseline, with an open step or a cross step out of a triple threat position. When we talked about why it's important to be able to open step and cross step from both the right and left side. You want to be able to use both feet to pivot because you do not want to be a fish out of water. It's okay to have a dominant pivot foot. If your high school coach or middle school coach or club coach is teaching you to have a dominant foot, you make that work. You listen to your coach first. The reason we teach our athletes at Elevation Athletics to be able to work out of both is because we don't want you to be a fish out of water. Just like a fish can't breathe out of water, we don't want you to be a player that can't operate when guarded a certain way on the left side of the floor or the right side of the floor. So very important when you are working on your skill set that you work with both, okay? And then you're finishing with a power layup from the baseline, very important. The micro skill, squaring your shoulder to the backboard, inside elbow up for nostril time, claiming that space, not trying to hurt anybody, we're just claiming our space so that we're able to finish in traffic, okay? And with that, you want to finish 10 with an open step, 10 with a cross step from the right side, 10 with an open step, 10 with a cross step from the left side. That is 20 for each side, 40 total finishes for the workout. Want to complete all that? Should take you, if you're really going hard, no more than 10, maybe 15 minutes. Your goal again is trying to complete that 4 times before next Tuesday when we make public the next daily vitamin workout. Thanks again for tuning into this week's daily vitamin workouts. See you next week.